been, revitalizing those 50 acres of low bush berries, because I don't see how you can deal with it. I just don't.
No, we sprayed every week. We only pick 2 days a week. So we sprayed consistently when we got Heather's first note that you spotted winged Drosophila, and we had the traps out. We didn't trap a lot. We started consistently spraying every week. And we think it was easier because we had bird problems, so our late variety, we were done picking like August 1st. So we didn't deal with what you had, our COVID, just the birds took care of them. Yeah. So we seemed to manage them. I did find a few maggots. I don't think they were spotted winged Drosophila because I was looking, we've had problems in the past with just the blueberry fruit fly. And I think I found like 3 and that was it. And I'm pretty good at spotting them. So, and I didn't notice a lot of soft berries, so spraying, not knowing to spray might have helped you, but it's still a pain. I mean, because
I didn't pay attention to my wife enough, okay? And she had told me to trap in June some, and I should have trapped, but we do 10,000, 12,000 bales of hay, and, you know,
well,
I make a lot more money than I do on my few blueberries, so
right.
You have to take priority. But we ended up, we had some soft berries the year before, and we didn't attend this meeting a year ago, and I wished I had, because we would have paid more attention to the whole problem. And I really don't know right now what to do. We've got some overgrowth. It's a big plantation. The bushes are big. I think we're going to go in and we're going to cut down maybe 1/3 of the whole plantation and see if I can't thin the whole thing out, make it easier to try and fight the bug, you know?
Yeah.
Excuse me, what did you spray? What chemicals?
Oh God, my dad does the spraying. I know he sprayed Delegate, and I can't remember what the intermittent other one was. Like we'd spray Delegate, something else, and then we go back to Delegate, and I just don't remember what
they recommended malathion, Delegate.
We didn't spray malathion at all because it smells, and we have neighbors like really close.
We have malathion and it doesn't smell. Jack, come down.
Oh my
God.
God. I don't know, I might have a sensitive nose.
The new liquid malathion does. The new liquid malathion does spray.
Oh, well, we might not have the new
That's
one,
not.
the old one.
This is
I
the
used
new
the
one.
old
It
one
doesn't
first and
smell.
stunk.
Oh.
Heather? Yeah.
What might be useful to us who are all about the same boat? I'm hearing many people say that they did spray. I did spray. The people who sprayed and got good coverage and had no, what did they spray and how often? Get that information out to the growers so they can.
Yeah, I think, weekly spraying.
I was doing that.
Well,
but you sprayed malathion.
No, I was
what
using Entrust and Delegate and the one other I used.
Well, the Entrust and Delegate are really like the same material.
Well, I used those two and I used the third, I can't remember what it was offhand. May have been Imidan. I didn't use the malathion because Dr. Cowles didn't seem to be too, he said he's kind of leery of it.
Okay.
So I used something, but I used 3 different sprays. I did some weekly sprays and I still got damage. And I've heard that from other people, so if we could get an information out about how other people are doing and what they're using and how often, and what kind of equipment they're using.
Well, yeah, having good spray equipment certainly helps because you need to have penetration into where the berries are, and that's why maybe having the thinner, less dense bushes are going to help a lot also, so that you can get good coverage. But using the Delegate, but then mixing it also with, I think still Imidan will be good, and then there's a sail that can be used.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, sail.
Like Mustang Max, I think was people were using, and that's a pyrethroid. There's several pyrethroids that you can use. So putting them on weekly, putting them on with sugar, maybe adding the oxidate to the sprays, and having cleaner bushes so it's easier to get good spray coverage. And then also picking thoroughly, and maybe going through and getting the soft berries out of there, because that's where more spotted winged Drosophila are coming from. But you're right, there is not anything that I can just say, do this and you're going to be all fine. This is, I mean, I've been an entomologist for 30-some years now, and this insect scares me like no other insect ever has before, and everybody else feels the same way that's doing research. This is an amazing insect.
Do we have the time around when the bees will be up? Because people are talking about putting sugar in with the poison. Isn't that going to attract the bees, the honeybees?
It's really a low amount of sugar, and so it's not that it's attracting the flies, it's just that the flies are there, they're
If they
attracted
happen
to your
to
fruit.
step on it, then
and
they'll
they-
automatically.
Exactly,
Right, but it's not gonna
exactly.
attract
But it's
then
not gonna attract,
the
yeah, it
bees.
doesn't seem to attract yellow
Well, the
jackets
bees
or
aren't gonna
anything
go
like that.
after the bushes after the bloom's done anyway.
Right, so that's when we're talking about spraying then, is after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
that's,
timing it
First
around the
start to
bloom.
turn.
but yeah, but
When do
it's, so
you
it's not,
start
you're
the
not
weekly
doing it,
spraying?
you're starting weekly, so I would start the weekly spraying as soon as the berries start turning blue, is when that they
Like the
start
first
being.
berry you see blue.
But the numbers are gonna be low then, and so, you know, I hate people out there spraying before they need to be spraying. So that's why it's good to be trapping or to be listening around to see what's being found elsewhere. But it's gonna be very close to when they start turning blue.
And what, to Beverly's question, what's considered effective? Like she sprayed and doesn't think it was effective, she lost some. I can't see spraying and still saying, I didn't lose one berry.
No, I think
if you
you're right
spray,
there.
you're still gonna lose a percentage, but not like this poor gentleman here
Right.
who really had a disaster, like,
Well, we sprayed, the reason I sprayed and spent the money was I was trying to see what I could do to prevent next year's, you know, help
Right.
work towards coming up with some kind of a plan for next year. And to me, I don't know, it was just too late, you know.
Yeah,
It was-
right,
Right.
you saved them right at
Vexation.
the end when there weren't very many berries left. Because, yeah, I mean, so once those eggs are laid, especially if it starts cooling off in September or whatever, it's gonna take a while for them all to develop, so.
I think getting the berries picked is also number one priority, to get them out of there. And number two, you know, you really gotta just be adamant about spraying. I mean, that's.
like that once a week, once they
Yeah.
turn blue and.
Kaczynski's farm over in Westfield, Mass., they have 22 acres of berries between Keaton Hills and Westfield, and I talked with them, and he's the one that recommended Delegate and the Malafia, and they were spraying every 7 days. And another farm up our way has got about 80 acres of orchard, and they had a lot of peaches, and they went to every 3 days spraying on the peaches. And they were trying, because of the life cycle of the bug, they thought that if they could spray every 3 days, that they'd actually start to knock out some of the life cycle of the bug. And that way, they had little damage, but nowhere near what we had.
Yeah, and they just, they're not, the spotted aren't as attracted to the peaches. They will be there, and I saw eggs and I saw a little bit of damage, but it doesn't compare with raspberries and then blueberries being the next.
We had them on our raspberries, but I noticed towards the end when I had sprayed those 6 times, the last raspberries towards the end that we picked really didn't have any damage.
Yeah,
It
but
does
then if
help
you had
some.
waited just a few days, you know, like that place that had 21 maggots per berry, they had sprayed 8 days before, and I don't know what he had used, but certainly, yeah, and so maybe more like a 5-day spray schedule really will make more sense, but that's,
But then we get caught with rain, you know,
That-
the bugs are still out if it's raining, so you can't
Right.
spray when it's raining, and if you end up having, you know, a week of rain, then
then yeah, you're in trouble.
you're stuck for.
Yeah, and what Nate Norse was saying was where before he may have sprayed before the rain for botrytis, and now he was spraying after the rain, because figuring the rain is washing off the insecticide and there's not enough there to kill the spotted wing. So they're rearranging everything for spotted wing Drosophila. They're, you know, I think they're doing a pretty good job, but it also is, yeah, as soon as they pick fruit, if they don't sell it that day, they're putting it in storage at 33 degrees, I think is what they're doing, and that pretty well will stop them as well. But
The other problem is if you're open for pick your own, how do you deal with, you know, trying to spray every 5 days and then be
Yeah.
open for pick your own, you know?
yeah,
That's why we only pick 2 days a week. How did you guys do it? You're open every day. Did you spray certain sections and not?
spray.
Oh, you don't spray.
I
And you
use
didn't have a
straws.
problem?
Not to the very end.
Yeah, and that's why I heard a lot of growers say it was like, yeah, maybe the last third of the crop, depending how late in the season they usually go, because we used to pick blueberries well into September, middle of September.
Well, we
so-
have mostly, more earlier varieties.
Right.
I mean, we're done by mid-August,
So-
on an average year.
But
Yeah.
normally we pick the September 15th,
Yeah.
Right. That makes
Oh, you were
it-
Right,
really
and so
late,
you lost that whole
right.
month, really,
yeah.
yeah.
So maybe those are the ones you prune.
Right, I know,
Varieties right now.
certainly
Yeah.
shifting to earlier varieties makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so does that make sense? Like, what if you just grew the one earliest variety?
Yep, and then you'll be done. Well, then, yeah, as Jack was saying, you know, they usually bloom earlier, you might have more of a problem with frost. And
Yeah,
then
but
you
if
can
you
lose.
like Bluetta and stuff, they're a
Don't
couple
like
of
me,
weeks.
what do I know?
I don't know, like the Bluetta, they come a couple of weeks early, so end of June,
Well, I
beginning
don't
of
know, I go,
July.
Duke is my earliest.
And when's that bloom?
I don't know,
Beginning
it's
of July?
Oh, you mean when you pick?
But,
Well,
Well,
on
when's it-
normal years,
well,
I'm picking
yeah,
the 4th of July.
You're picking 4th of July, so
on
they
normal
probably
years.
bloom mid-May. You know, you can't control
Most
the
years,
frost.
yeah.
For
most
any
years you'll
flowers,
do
but-
okay. You know, blueberries usually do pretty well through the frost.
So it just seems like if the blueberries are done before August starts with your charts, if it's not gonna shift too much,
Right,
then you don't really have too much to worry about. You
Right.
probably, it's more the August varieties
Yes.
that,
yeah, right.
But what if you don't have the early varieties?